Everybody, thank you for joining us again, Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. And I want to address, many people have been criticizing Kanye West. Many people have been criticizing from the left. And let me say this. Let me give you this disclaimer. I'm neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I'm neither left or right. Okay. I'm a Pan-Africanist. And with that being said, I'm only concerned with the best interests of people who are of African descent all over this planet. That's where I'm at. But many people have been criticizing Kanye West in regards to his support for Donald Trump. One of them being Ebro. Ebro, I think, is with Hot 197. I believe it's a station in New York. Please don't hold me to it. But Ebro has been very vocal in regards to his distaste, in regards to Kanye's support for Donald Trump. And there's a lot of, I would say, radio personalities or entertainers who have been coming out and calling out Kanye West and the likes of Candace Owens in regards to their support of the Trump and of the right, supporting the right, hard right, I guess. And I don't agree with them either. I don't agree with Kanye's stance or Candace Owens, but I think the irony and the hypocrisy behind people like Ebro, who want to call out Kanye and Candace Owens, is that a lot of not only our Black politicians, a lot of our Black entertainers have been pushing this absolute fraud or this scam, I don't know what to call it, bullshit, excuse my language, called the Black and Brown Coalition. Now, the Black and Brown Coalition, okay, is, I guess, Black and brown people supporting each other. But I think the brown has been benefiting more from the Black than the Black has from the brown. Pretty much all the benefits or opportunities that a lot of brown people have in this country have came from the sacrifices of the Black. But it's not being reciprocated. In fact, this is what goes on in the Black and Brown Coalition. Let me read this article. I want to read this article to you guys. And see, my issue with this, give me 1 second. My issue with this is that if this is a white supremacist or a Trump supporter, all of the, Kamala Harris, Maxine Waters, Ebro, Charlemagne the God, they will be calling this out as racism from the right and these racist Trump supporters, and how, Trump being elected has pushed us back and is giving racists a platform to, I guess, show their racism openly. But for some reason, none of them have brought up this. Gang members admit to firebombing Black families in Boyle Heights housing development. Now, this is in LA. This is in LA. And that's why I say it's pretty much a wrap for Black people in LA, because your own Black politicians will not defend you at all. Okay? So when it's an attack coming from the Brown Coalition, the Latino, non-Black Latino coalition, if they're the ones who are firebombing you guys out of your neighborhoods, it's not an issue. You're not going to hear from Ebro and all the Black politicians. All right. Members of a Latino street gang have admitted to carrying out a racially motivated firebombing attack on Black families in a Los Angeles housing project. Prosecutors announced Thursday 3 men belonging to the Big Hazard gang will plead guilty to federal hate crimes stemming from the 2014 attack, according to written plea agreements. In exchange for the confessions, prosecutors for U.S. Attorney Nicola Tejada agreed to seek some leniency for the men when they are sentenced. Each faces more than 30 years of federal prison. The nighttime attack on Mother's Day. Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room. Again, like I said, if this was a white supremacist or a Trump supporter, they would be all over this. But since it's a non-black Latinos who carried this out, and all your black entertainment, your black politicians, your black entertainers, how they want to push this false narrative of this black and brown coalition, they're not going to bring this up. The Big Hazard gang claimed the Boyle Heights housing project as its territory, and the men set out to terrorize black families into fleeing their apartments, according to a statement released by Hannah. Jose Saucito, hopefully I said that right, Edwin Felix, and Jonathan Portillo were part of a group of 8 gang members who carried out the well-planned attack. Now, there's a documented history in LA of Latino gang members intimidating black residents. But again, Kamala Harris, all your black politicians will not discuss it or address it. Ebro, all your black entertainers will not address it. 3 other members of the gang previously pleaded guilty to participating in the bombing as part of the plea deals announced this week. Prosecutors will not require the 3 men to testify against the alleged ringleader. Wow. So look at this. So not only are they going to get a more lenient sentence, they don't even have to snitch on anybody. But when it comes to black people, we got to look at First 48. We got to tell on everybody. We got to snitch on everybody, tell on everybody, names, phone numbers, wear a damn wire, tap the phone. We got to do everything. But they firebomb black families and don't have to tell on anybody, and they get leniency. Ain't that some shit? Who maintained their innocence and faced a trial this summer. Details of the earlier guilty pleas have been kept under seal. Kept under seal. Look at this. Getting well protected in California. Like I said, your black politicians, okay, will protect non-blacks more than they will black people, period. The attack was discussed at a gang meeting in early May 2014. Prosecutors allege where the purported ringleader Carlos Hernandez, 31, told gang members that they would use Molotov cocktails to firebomb apartments of some of the 23 black families living in Ramona Gardens at the time. Hernandez said the order for the attack had come from figures in the Mexican Mafia, a prison gang that controls many Hispanic gangs in Southern California. According to court filings, on May 11th, Mother's Day, the group met again to prepare for the attack, the indictment said. At the second meeting, Hernandez assigned each gang member a specific job: breaking apartment windows, lighting the devices, throwing them inside. He also handed out disguises and gloves, according to the indictment. Prosecutors allegedly the men didn't carry cell phones to prevent police from tracking their movements and purposely avoided security cameras as they sneaked up on their targets. Ain't this some shit? But if you leave it up to the black and brown coalition, Ebro and all of them, this never happened. Never happened. After midnight, the men smashed windows of 4 apartments they had scouted out and threw in the lit explosive, according to the plea agreements. Black families, including women and children who were sleeping. Let me stop. Black people in LA, I would not vote for shit. How can I put this? If Maxine Waters shows up to a fucking council meeting or whatever, I would tell Maxine Waters to kiss my ass. If freaking Kamala Harris shows up, same thing. You guys are being gentrified out your city. You're being sent to Riverside, San Bernardino. You're being firebombed. And fucking Skid Row, the highest homeless population in America, 85% black. Oh, black people have been completely, your leaders have completely failed you. But they want you to think that Trump is the issue. They want to make you think Trump is the issue. Your black leadership in LA has completely failed. Completely failed. This is proof. Prove me wrong. A mother who was asleep on a couch with her infant in her arms narrowly missed being struck by one of the firebombs, the statement said. It was a miracle that no one was injured in these racially motivated attacks. Okay, I'm not gonna read anymore. I'm not gonna read anymore. But we get the point. Okay. Here we go. Let's see here. On August 30th, 1992. Here we go. In Ramona Gardens, the Big Hazard gang tried to keep blacks out for more than a generation. In fact, let me scroll up a little bit more. The case is the latest of several other the last 2 decades against Latino street gangs accused of using violence to push rival black gangs out of certain neighborhoods. A few years ago, federal prosecutors charged members of a Latino gang with a campaign to push blacks out of the unincorporated Florence Firestone neighborhood. This is right outside of, I want to say this is right outside of Compton, kind of. That allegedly resulted in 20 homicides over 3 years. In the Harbor Gateway district of LA, a Latino gang was accused of targeting African Americans, including 14-year-old Cheryl Green, whose 2006 death became a rallying point against such attacks. Again, you won't hear shit from your black politicians about this. You're not going to hear from the damn black and brown coalition, you know, Ebro and all of them. They're going to tell you that Trump is the issue. And members of a Latino gang in Highland Park were convicted of a series of assaults and killings in the early 1990s. In Ramona Gardens, the Big Hazard gang tried to keep blacks out for more than a generation. On August 30th, 1992, an explosion ripped through the pantry of a Ramona Gardens apartment where a black couple and their 7 children lived. Another black family across the street had been attacked minutes later. At the time, 7 black families lived in the project. After the attack, they left. For the next 2 decades, virtually no blacks lived in Ramona Gardens. Big Hazard had deep connections to the Mexican mafia, which directed attacks on blacks, authorities allege. Again, but like I said, your you know, black politicians and, you know, black entertainers, you know, black and brown coalition is Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump. Here's another video. And I can't stand Tucker Carlson. Can't stand him. But I have to agree with him on this one. I have to agree with him. Oh, let's start this from the beginning. Hold on.
Jorge Ramos is an anchor at Univision. He's the author of Stranger, The Challenge of a Latino Immigrant in the Trump Era, and he joins us tonight. Jorge, thanks for coming on.
Great to be here.
So I understand why Mexico wants to export its poor to the United States. I'm sure if we could export our poor to Canada, some people would be in favor of it. Not me, but some. But what I don't understand is why America is denounced as racist for not wanting that. Why is it racist to say it's our border, we determine who comes here?
No, you know, first of all, let me just say that I don't speak for the Mexican government. I've been criticizing the Mexican government for decades.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I left Mexico because of censorship. So I don't speak for the Mexican government.
Okay.
Now, what I do understand is when you have President Trump saying that Mexico has to pay for a useless wall, Mexicans simply don't like that. And when you have a politician in June 2015 saying that Mexican immigrants are criminals and drug traffickers and rapists, and that's a racist statement, Mexicans simply don't like that. That's the problem with Donald Trump.
Well, I understand
Mexicans are rejecting Donald Trump and his government.
Okay, I understand that. But, I mean, let's be honest. If you were to do an actual measure of racism, Mexico is a far more racist country than the United States.
Get him, Tucker Carlson, get him.
I mean, the last 4 presidents have all been white people who went to Harvard or Yale. It's a totally unequal society. It's not the most unequal in the world. I'm not attacking it. But I'm just saying, for the Mexican government to turn around and say, oh, you're racist.
There's a lot of discrimination in Mexico.
And listen, your boy Jorge Ramos admitted it. There's a lot of discrimination in Mexico. And we were just dealing as far as black Latinos and how they're treated in these Latino countries, Brazil, Puerto Rico, Mexico. I mean, they're treated, they face just as much racism as we do with the white supremacists, or even more with the white supremacists here in America. So I'm just confused about this black and brown coalition. I need some answers. I need to know what's really going on. Because again, if you go to these Latino countries and see the way Black people are discriminated against, it's worse than a lot of Black people here in America.
I know there is.
There's a lot of discrimination in Mexico.
I don't want to attack Mexico. I just think a little perspective is in order here. It's a little much for the offspring of conquistadors to be
offspring of conquistadors. Them and the Portuguese, the original colonializers and slave traders. Tucker makes a great point. Conquistadors, the original slave traders, them and the Portuguese.
Saying you're racist if you want a border. By the way, when we get there, we deserve affirmative action. Like, what? This is crazy. Can we be?
And that's the point, affirmative action. Black people made that happen. So brown people enjoy the benefits of initiatives like affirmative action, okay, that came from the sacrifices of Black people.
Be honest about it or no?
I think we can be honest about it. And yet there's discrimination here in the United States, and there's also discrimination in Mexico. Absolutely. Now, the United States does have the right to a border.
Okay, enough of that. Let's go to Amara La Negra.
And take off some and do a record, right? And I'm like, yo, I need you to look a certain way.
What would a certain way look like? Like what do you have in mind? What do you
A little bit more Beyonce, a little less Macy Gray.
Black and Brown Coalition. Black and Brown Coalition.
You know, you gotta be a little bit more sensual. You know, the Afro thing's cool. You know, you can do, you know what I'm saying, like a video here and there, certain looks. But
you know, Beyonce, bleach skin and blonde weave.
well, let me try something different looks.
Shout out to Everybody Hates Angel, by the way.
Wait, I don't get it. What is that?
It's a seasonal thing. It's a
Elaborate.
seasonal
No. See, I liked it. Go ahead. What does that mean?
You can see Beyonce just like this, Soul Sister, the same way you can see her come in a beautiful gown, elegant, breathtaking.
So I can't be elegant if I have a fro. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
A lot of people like to box me in. Oh.
Okay, what else do we have here? What else do we have here? Alpo. Hold on. I don't know if you guys know Alpo, the big dope dealer out of New York.
Because everybody thought he was black, but he was just a dark-skinned Puerto Rican.
Oh, everybody thought he was black, but he's a dark-skinned Puerto Rican. Okay, so again, you know, I just and Alpo was notorious for killing black men, other black dope dealers. So you have this, you know, I don't know what the fuck, a dark-skinned Puerto Rican or non-black, we'll just say that because I guess he doesn't identify with being black. Okay. I guess he doesn't identify with his African roots, going around killing black men. But there's a Black and Brown Coalition. Let me run that back.
He was the most popular because of the shit that he was doing.
Well, people knew him as Alpo. I knew him as Negro.
He was just like every other kid in the hood. There we was all trying to find something to take our mind off the fact that we was fucked up.
Because everybody thought he was black, but he was just a dark-skinned Puerto Rican.
Everybody thought he was black, but he was a dark-skinned Puerto Rican. So we have a non-black man who was just murdering black men. You guys seen Paid in Full. You guys seen it. So again, I just need to know, how are black people benefiting from this Black and Brown Coalition? All right, so let's get to Donald Trump real quick. Let's get to Donald Trump. All right, so this story came out. You guys know I don't like Donald Trump, but it's been verified. All right. Has Trump given more money to HBCUs than any other president? Coming out of Beyonce's Coachella performance, Queen Bey announced she would donate $100,000 towards historically black colleges and universities. The announcement got some people fired up on social media, debating which president gave the most money. We know Obama didn't do shit for black people. In fact, he did more for brown people than anything. Debating which president gave the most money towards historically Black institutions, many claim Trump gave the most. Less than a month into his presidency, Trump met with the education leaders and signed an executive order reaffirming support to historically Black colleges and universities. We have made great strides in strengthening HBCUs, a cherished and vital institution in our country. Very important, Trump said February 2017. Historically Black colleges and universities first received federal funds back in 1980 under Jimmy Carter, according to the Department of Education. This was to boost representation and enrollment of African Americans in the world of academia and the professional world. We went straight to the Department of Education. According to the records, Trump gave the most to historically Black institutions for both undergraduate and graduate studies. Obama held that record back in 2010. But in 2018, Trump appropriated more than $360 million, $32 million more than Obama. So we can verify Trump has spent more money, spent more than any other president on HBCUs. So again, who's more delusional? And I can get into the unemployment figures and everything. So who has done more for Black people, Trump or this Black and brown coalition? Have Black people benefited more from Trump or this Black and brown coalition? Let me go ahead and stop this so I can answer some questions. So yeah. So that's my thing. You can't, how can I put it? We can't criticize Kanye West and other Trump supporters, Black Trump supporters, when you bring up this mythical Black and brown coalition. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let me read these. Alpo says he's not Black. He said I'm just saying what his people said. They thought he was Black, but he's just a dark-skinned Puerto Rican. Whatever that is. What else we got here? See what else we got here. Yeah, he did. Malcolm X's grandson did get killed in Mexico. Let me just go through these comments real quick. Everybody, thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, man. So again, I'm just disappointed how, I mean, like John Clark said, we have no friends. Now, you might have friends on an individual level, okay? But as far as a collective, we are on our own. And I don't understand why Black people don't understand that. I'm only focused on African peoples. So yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to, I just wanted to share that with you guys this evening. Yeah, Maxine Waters got to go, man. She has to go. Her, Kamala Harris, even Angela Ray, Common's ex-girlfriend. She got to go too, man. Cause that's her. That's Maxine Waters' understudy, I guess. Cory Booker. I mean, they got to go. So they're playing around. They got to go. I'm trying to catch up on these comments, but everybody, thank you for joining. Any questions before I get out of here? Any questions? Oh, she is. Yeah, and they rejected him because he was Black. Mexico had a Black president whom they rejected, Vicente Guerrero, right? And they rejected him because he was Black. So yeah. Information Man Show. I'm glad you you enjoyed it, brother. Hey, shoot me an email. Search for uhuru@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Can I be a guest to address this topic? Brother Malik. Yeah, what's yeah, we could connect, brother Malik. We could connect. Any broadcast on Haiti soon? Maybe. So yeah, but this is just the reality, and black people in LA can continue to be delusional and not want to deal with reality, but this is the reality. Oh, they were ABL and Brandon. That's ABL and Brandon. That's the new Diamond and Silk. ABL and Brandon Tatum. That's did they do a show together, Amara? Yeah, ABL and Brandon. That's Diamond and Silk. That's what that is. That's Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk. That's who that is. They are Diamond and Silk. Exactly. Both parties are not in the best interest of black Americans. There it is. I mean, I don't know what it takes for black people to understand that. I don't know what it takes. Outside of Cuba, yes. Now, I would say Fidel Castro has done a lot for black people. But I mean, Brazil is, goodness, probably more racist than America. You know, so I'm just trying to figure out, where is this black and brown coalition at? Coco, I would say both for right now. Yeah, but Port Trucker 912, the platform switched. Brother Malik, it's documented. Fidel Castro has done a lot for black people across this planet. I mean, apartheid. He sent in soldiers to train a lot of those soldiers over in Africa. Sister Assata Shakur is over there right now. He's done a lot. But LAR movement is ABL and Brandon Tatum. That's the new Diamond and Silk. Have they partnered? Have they joined forces? That's the new Diamond and Silk. Have they joined forces over there, LAR movement? It was Mexico that helped fight slavery and provided a safe haven for enslaved Africans during the 1700s. Yeah. So yeah. Brother Malik, you want to come on real quick for about 20 minutes? I'm about to send you the link, Brother Malik. Let me send you the link real quick. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm about to send you the link, Brother Malik. You can come on real quick. We got about 15, 20 minutes. Brother Malik, I just sent you the link. I just sent it. Oh, you missed pretty much the whole show, but Brother Malik's coming on. You know, we'll stay on like another 15, 20 minutes, and I gotta get up out of here. The Dominican Republic, especially towards Haitian people. So I'm trying to figure out where. Shout out to LAR Movement. Everybody who's watching, go make sure you subscribe to LAR Movement's channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Brother Malik. I mean, brother, I can't stay on for longer than about 20, 30 minutes. But just come on, just jump on. I mean, we can keep it flowing if we need to, but just click the link. If you want to come on. I don't know. I mean, they're sick. Dominicans are something else. They swear they're not blacks. I had a barber, Puerto Rican, obviously African descent. He told me, oh, Brother Malik, what's good?
Black Power philosophy.
Go ahead, brother.
I want you to like I'm gonna say this is the thing. I'm not offended at what you're saying, and I'm not offended at the comments in the room, because the thing is, I understand the power of propaganda, and I understand the indoctrination that we have received as a people by the European. And I understand that the propaganda and the indoctrination that we received by the enemy is a means to divide and conquer and control and confuse the people. So we are at odds with each other. The black and brown coalition you speak of, I don't represent those people. Okay. A lot of times when you see people such as this, just because they may paint a picture that may look good, it's important to understand who founded it. What else is there on their agenda? What else is on the plate here? It's like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is an oxymoron because it was founded by crackers. It is led by homosexuals. And so homosexuality does not produce life. So therefore, Black lives does not matter according to them, whether they want to accept it or reject it. The point that I want to get at here is this, is that there is a division amongst so-called Latinos and so-called African Americans, just as there is a division amongst Africans from the continent of Africa and the Africans that are here in North America, known as so-called
I'm gonna stop you right there though, real quick. The division between Black Americans and Africans is nowhere where the division is between, I would say, Black people and non-Black Latinos.
It is, you got to understand what I mean by when I'm talking about so-called Latinos. When I'm talking about, I'm not concerned with those that are European. You have to understand something, is that when you see places like Cuba and Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and all these other so-called Latin countries, you have to understand the mixture of the people. You have to understand that we come in all shades. You have to understand that somebody could be so fair and then you see their uncle or their mother or their father and yet they're dark. And you have to understand the indoctrination that took place in these places due to the Inquisition. And the Inquisition was the window to the African slave trade. And so the division that we have is people who have no knowledge of self and a people that are not politically educated, that really don't understand what is white supremacy. Is it just a white man? Or has white supremacy expounded to it could be anybody on any 7 continents of any complexion or male or female? White supremacy originally just dealt with Anglo-Saxon men, rich white Anglo-Saxon Protestant men. That was what a white supremacy originally was. We have to understand what is capitalism. There are 3 components to capitalism, which is economic classism, racism, and sexism, and there are many devices to capitalism. So when it comes to this thing about so-called Latinos and so-called African Americans, this is due to capitalism. This is due to indoctrination. This is due to putting one people against another.
But bro, I feel like you're deflecting now. Like, I mean, what does that have to do with the Mexican mafia targeting Black families in LA?
Listen, when it comes to that, they're wrong. There is no ifs, ands, buts, and in between. They're wrong. They're wrong. And by them targeting specifically Black people, they are an enemy. They're counter-revolutionary. They are oxymoron. They don't care. Now, if they change their way, which they probably would never do that, that's another subject. But they are wrong for what they're doing. I wouldn't be friends with a Mexican mafia person. I would have would have nothing in common at all. First of all, you're about destroying rather building. And the only thing that you should be concerned with destroying as a Mexican is capitalism, white supremacy, not the black man. Mexico was the #2 drop-off point for Africans, and Brazil was #1. This is a division by the European. So,
but brother, go ahead and finish, brother. I got a question for you.
For myself, I have conflicts with so-called Latinos. Like the video you showed of the sister with the afro and the guy, I emailed that guy. He has a self-hatred. He thinks because, I look a certain way, therefore, I only want to acknowledge my African roots when I'm black, when it's convenient. That's a problem with a lot of so-called Latinos. It absolutely is. I'm not denying none of that. I'm very critical towards so-called Latinos, but at the same time, I understand that they have been indoctrinated with self-hatred.
Okay, so brother, so what are you trying to say as far as, are you trying to pass the blame on to Europeans as far as this fake black and brown coalition? Like what?
I'm saying that what Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad said, he said that everything is the white man's fault. But there is a point in time that we have to be held responsible for what we do. But the origin of every single thing that we face is due to the white man. Was it the white man that gave you your name? Was it the white man that gave you that language? Was it the white man that gave you Jesus? Well, guess what? It was the same white man that gave us the name Rodriguez and Perez. It was the same white man that gave us Catholicism. It was the same white man that gave us Spanish.
Okay, but brother, I'm trying to figure out how. Okay, everything I just pointed out. This is where I'm at now. So there is a brother.
Also, Latinos are in a box.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish real quick though. I'm to the point now where I just cannot, with the internet, with the access to all this information we have. I think I doubt it's the white man, but more just do for self. Because again, in all these Latino countries, okay, black Latinos of African descent are marginalized. Okay, by like Tucker Carlson said, by these white Spaniards who just happened, because you have to understand, a lot of these countries, they imported white people to whiten their population.
Absolutely.
So
did the black man do that? Did the indigenous man do that? Or did some cracker do that? So again, it goes back to the white man. Right.
But then a lot of the, I don't know the term as far as the, I guess they call themselves mestizos, which is the white and the indigenous mix, I guess.
That's a term that the white man came up with, the same way that the white man came up with the term colored and Negro and African American and Afro American and Hispanic and Spanish and Latino and Mestizo. These are all, even mulatto. It's a Spanish name, and the etymology comes from the Arabs. Why? To divide the people. Who am I panicking? Hispanic. Who am I panicking? A name of an island, Hispaniola, that's some cracker named Christopher Columbus name, and it's today people are called Hispanic. Latino denotes people from Greece and Rome, Latin-based languages in French, and France and Italy, and Spain and Portugal speak Latin-based languages. So the Europeans gave us a Latin-based language. Okay, so I've met Africans from West Africa, from Sierra Leone. Tell me that they're a Frenchman, not an African, a Frenchman, because they so want to be white. They're so whitenized.
But Sierra Leone was colonialized by the British. Why would they be Frenchmen?
Because there's Sierra Leone's, that people from Sierra Leone that speak French.
Oh, okay. But this is the thing where we're at right now. We got to deal with where we're at right now. Right now, the brown would not completely unite with the black because they're in it for themselves, and we just have to accept that as fact. So we can't start blaming white supremacy. We can't start, deflecting. It's just where we're at right now. The facts are the brown, they want their own resources. They want their own situation. And so therefore they're on that fuck the black. And our black leaders will not admit that.
You live in America, correct?
Correct.
What is the political ideology of this country?
It's so many.
It's capitalism.
Okay.
Okay. Who pulls the puppet strings in South America, in Central America, and the Caribbean?
Brother, I understand that, but what does that have to do with the Mexican mafia saying kick out these black people? That's what I'm saying. Like it's just okay. Give me 1 second. I give you a prime example. It's just we got to stop treating the white man like he's Thanos. We have to stop it. Like when a black man gets caught selling dope in the black community or kills another black man, we want to blame white supremacy. And I'm like, no. Okay, white supremacy did not force that black man to sell dope or to kill another black man. So we got to stop with this. This white man is Thanos and he's everywhere. He's gonna be in the bed with me. Pause, no homo. He's gonna just follow me everywhere I go. He's in my car everywhere I go. I cannot escape the white man. We just have to stop that.
So let me ask you something. What black people and what Latinos own hospitals and prisons and nursing homes and universities and any form of education?
But I understand that, but what we're talking about right now, brother, is black families are being targeted by non-black Latinos. Like that has nothing to do with a hospital.
You're not understanding the point, brother. If you came from a household of drug use and alcoholism, right? There's a disease and there's an abusive cycle that has not been broken. When you come from being conditioned for hundreds of years and not that long ago were only able to ride on the front of a bus and enter into the entrance of a building from the front and drink from a water fountain and just things like that. Do you realize the mental condition that has been done? Our people still believe in a fictitious character named Jesus Christ. In 2018.
I understand, brother. But again,
it has everything to do with it. It is all connected. I think you should listen to some lectures by Dr. Khalid Abdul-Muhammad.
I love Khalid Abdul-Muhammad. Love him.
You love him?
Yeah. What happened? Why did his son turn out to be so different? But that's another topic. But yeah. I mean, I listen to Khalid Muhammad.
His son came out to be different, but there's a thing called the art of war.
Got you. Okay. Say no more. Say no more. Say no more. Okay, go ahead. I understand.
This is all connected.
Okay. Well, LAR movement makes a great point in the chat room. Now we've been conditioned for hundreds of years, but when do you see black people targeting non-black Latinos? LAR movement. That's a great point. That's a great point. LAR movement.
You think that there isn't?
I'm just saying. So we have all these stories of non-black Latinos targeting black people in LA, which is documented. We have stories because this is the point I'm making. If these non-black Latinos go to Africa, they will be treated with respect. They will have the red carpet rolled out. Okay. In fact, they will probably treat them better than they do the Africans themselves. But for some reason, the black people, okay, in these countries or in these places like LA or these cities are treated like shit, but we don't attack them. Like we're not going after non-black Latino communities, but they're coming after us. So again, if this is programming, why they're attacking us and we're not attacking them, and why do we continue to push this narrative of the black and brown coalition? It's mainly, listen to this, is mainly predominantly black people who push this narrative. You don't see the brown people pushing it. That's the issue.
I beg to differ on that.
Let me ask you this. Are you Latino?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You have a Latino wife?
I don't take the name that some cracker gave me.
Okay. Okay. Are you of African descent? Like, are you like black? Like what? Say that again.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, well, go ahead.
And I'm fair complected. At that.
Okay, so are you mixed? Are you
black.
mixed?
I would be considered what some people would say mixed. Yes, I am.
Okay, what do you mix with?
With African, indigenous, and the blood of the slave master that raped my ancestors.
Okay. Now is the blood of the slave master that raped your ancestors? Are they from like a Spanish speaking country?
Yes.
Okay, so I understand where you're coming from now. Okay, it all makes sense now. All makes sense. Okay, but go ahead and continue. Go ahead.
So the thing is that you're right. You don't see what you're talking about as far as this Mexican gang thing. It's just the same way as like when people like the Nation of Islam or the Panthers are targeted, right? But when have you seen the Nation of Islam or the Panthers hang white people or lynch white people? You haven't.
Right, because it's not in our nature.
Okay, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So these people that are doing this are acting uncivilized and acting out of their not original state of mind. And they are wrong for doing that. And they are giving everybody else a bad image. Do you realize that most of what we see in the streets is emulated from the prisons? In prison, I don't know.
And I'm gonna take it further than that. A lot of this pseudo stuff that's being pushed around in the conscious community comes from the prison system. But that's another topic. But go ahead.
But you brought it up. But what are you talking about? What came from the prison system?
The majority of all this pseudo information comes from the prison system.
Give me an example.
I would say like correction status. What else? Just a lot of the pseudo information comes from the prison system.
Correction status is pseudo.
I know.
And correction status, anybody who's doing that as a charlatan, which has the mentality of a capitalistic white supremacist. So I'll say the name, Polite. And I'm on record. I've never liked Polite. I see through Polite.
Right.
Polite used to be a follower of Dr. Pork. And so the apple did not fall far from the tree.
You said Dr. Porter.
Who people call Dr. Malachi Z. York. I call him Dr. Pork.
Okay, Dr. York. Go ahead.
And pork is unclean for you. And his teachings was unclean. His teachings was pseudo. Now you have some people say, oh, you know, the 5% came from the prison. No, they didn't. The Nation of God's Earth did not come from the prison. Father Allah left Mosque number 7 and he started the Nation of God's Earth. You know, is there things in the conscious community that's pseudo? Yes. Just as there's things in the church, in the synagogue, in the masjid, that's pseudo, and in organizations, that's pseudo. So pseudo, you know, that is something that's another thing that is hindering us with progress. You have people talking about, oh, you know, a woman shouldn't menstruate. You have other people talking about pyramids were built by aliens. You know, correction status. So if you join me.
Hey, quick question. Somebody brought up a great point. LAR movement is somebody else. Hispanics don't call out these Latino gangs killing us. Why is that? They have a great point.
That's not true.
I where? Show me. I need facts. I need big facts.
But are you familiar with the Brown Berets?
Something okay. I mean, on a more national level, like I need to see it. I'm familiar with the Brown Berets. I'm very familiar with them, but I'm talking about on a more national level. They're not calling this out.
Well, that's something that is a flaw with so-called Latinos that they need to do. I'm not liked by a lot of so-called Latinos because of how I talk and what I'm into. They don't like that.
Okay, why is that? So again, so that another thing. So you just admitted that a lot of Latinos don't agree with you or don't like you. So again, where is the Black and Brown Coalition?
The Black and Brown Coalition comes about with individuals that know and understand what's going on and are mature enough to handle this and recognize the similarities between each other and realize that they can work together. I don't believe that, first of all, I don't believe in romanticism. I don't believe in utopia. I don't believe that there's ever going to be this unification because it's never happened on the face of this planet. It never
Okay,
happened.
so then I guess me and you could both agree that the Black and Brown Coalition is some BS.
That particular organization you're talking about?
No, just in general. Like when I hear people like, you know who Ebro is?
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
Like when people like Ebro say the Black and Brown Peoples, Black and Brown Coalition. Like I'm just saying in general, why do, as a Black man, why should our Black leaders, why should they include the Brown in all our initiatives?
Because whenever you look at the history of any organization, of any government, of anything, there was always allies. So there's people that understand the need for allies. And they understand that the people have been conditioned. There are those that don't understand it. So what we have to do is educate those that don't understand.
But how
And
long?
if
But
they
brother,
never get,
how long are we going to continue to educate? Because again, these non-Black organizations are not reaching out or sharing their resources or whatever you want to call it. They're not, I guess, on the other.
pressure has to be put on them.
But
Exposure has to be done. And that's important. You're raising valid questions. So what has to be done is pressure has to be applied. Why are you saying you about unification, but what are you really doing? It's not that it can't work. It can work. It's the problem is people. People have ego. People themselves are indoctrinated, and it's a process. That's why you ever hear the term, you have to plant seeds. You just plant seeds, you keep it moving. You do what you do, but you just plant the seeds. Whenever you look at any of these movements that have come about, in this country that has uplifted Black people, so-called Latinos could join these movements.
right, for their own interests, but they don't. The issue is they don't reciprocate. That's the issue.
So-called Latinos are a very indoctrinated people, extremely indoctrinated people. And it goes down to the blackest of the Black so-called Latino. They are very indoctrinated people. I know Latinos that are very dark. Oh, I'm not African. I'm Puerto Rican. Really? You're Puerto Rican? You're a rich port? Or are you Boricuan? Because there's a difference. That's what the land was called, Boricuan, not Puerto Rico. And then you even get into that, they don't even want to accept that. They're just very indoctrinated. It's like you have Black people here. I'm not no fucking African. I'm an American. I'm an African American. They don't want to accept it. It's on both sides of the fence. So my thing is, I love the people. So I don't want to give up on the people. Because I feel as though if I stay silent and if I don't do something, guess what? Everything you're talking about, you can point the finger at Malik.
Okay, well, bro,
So
I just feel like the only reason why. Okay, let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask a couple more questions that I have to check out. Is there a Black and Brown coalition?
Yes.
Where?
Are you familiar with the new Black Panther Party and the different formations of the new Black Panther Party?
Okay. How is the Black collective benefit? How has the Black collective benefited from the Black and Brown coalition? Okay, let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase that question. Okay, the Brown have benefited more from the Black than the Black has benefited from the Brown. Prove me wrong. And if not so, what is the brown doing to make sure they properly repay or reciprocate?
Well, that's, brother, who came first, the black or the brown?
Oh, bro, we okay. We're getting pseudo now. We're getting pseudo. I mean, we're not getting pseudo, but I mean, you know what I mean. We're starting to, you know, I mean, come on, bro. I'm just saying.
You don't know what I'm about to say, brother.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm about to say is that, first of all, not just so-called Latinos, but anybody that comes to this country should be thankful to so-called African Americans.
But they're not.
Because
that's the issue.
What they did, it's what they went through. It's what they paved the way, that now they have made it easier for everybody else. Okay? Black people, people of the continent of Africa, were the first people. People evolved from Africa. So people, when they don't understand that, and they don't understand the connection that's there, that's a problem. You have to give respect to the black man and the black woman. And it's hard for people that's indoctrinated to do that when they still believe Jesus is white. And they still believe black is horrible. And oh my God, you know, yeah, I got family members that are dark, but you know, this is so-called Latinos, you know, I got family members that are dark, and this and the third, and I came out light. But what they do is they reap off that privilege of that skin complexion, so now it goes into colorism. This is all connected. It's all connected. It's people just not having a knowledge of self.
Okay, but brother, I just think in 2018, where we're at as a black people, we will be wasting precious time to continue to push this black and brown narrative. And I know you're partial because you're half non-black Latino or whatever you want to call it. But I just really think we are wasting our time to continue to push this false narrative of the black and brown coalition, especially because we're in 2018.
So what happens here is when you have individuals such as yourself, or even on the other side of the coin, what happens is y'all do what y'all do. We do what we do, but there's no hate. And the only thing that can be done is trying to educate the people and lead by example. Rome was not built in a day.
Man, brother, we just said we don't have the luxury of Rome right now. That's the issue.
It's a figure of speech.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but and what I'm saying is we don't have the luxury to continue and beg these people who are literally running us out of our black communities, like literally.
I'm not saying begging. I'm not saying beg. Nobody said beg. Begging is out the equation. What I'm saying is, if we can acknowledge that we have a common enemy, if we have a common similarity of what we went through, and we have a common problem, let's work together. If not, you be your way, and to me, I'll be my way.
And the point I'm making is pretty much they've said no. Is a waste of time. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not talking about small groups like the brown berets. I'm talking about, you know, on a larger people with a larger platform is pretty much say they're only focused for the most part with white non-black Latinos. Hell, look at Univision, look at Telemundo. I mean, now these are platforms that are supposed to represent Latino people. There's a large population of black Latino people, and black people are not represented on these platforms. So they've already said no. So we are preaching to the choir, trying to beg these people.
Univision and Telemundo does not represent so-called Latinos. And the other thing is, have you met every single so-called Latino on the face of this planet? Have you sat and let me ask you this, since you're talking about this, how often do you go out to so-called Latinos and have this conversation?
I've had it.
Every day?
Not, at least, of course, not every day. I got, but the thing is, I'm more engaged with my people that I don't have time to go out to all the Latino communities and say, hey, let's join forces. Because they're sure not doing it either.
Okay. So
all right,
now,
like somebody in the chat room said, stop this BS, Uhuru. Look, bro, Latinos have no interest in a coalition with black people, dude. Come on, man. I mean, he's right. We're wasting time. I'm gonna let LAR movement come on, and then we'll LAR movement. I sent you the link. I'm gonna let him come on, and then you know, we'll go ahead and check out. But yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you though. I'm gonna be honest. I feel as if just living in LA, okay, and I had this mentality at one time. The reason why we push for stuff like this, it's more over chasing non-black vagina than anything. Wow. A lot of just living in LA, to seeing the amount of black men who don't date black women, they will not call out issues like this because they are afraid it will compromise them in regards to getting non-black vagina. I'm telling you, this is all centered, in my honest opinion, I think this is all centered around non-black vagina.
So this is
I'm trying to keep it clean. I'm trying to keep it PG-13. I don't want to say the other word. So I'm just gonna say vagina.
That's crazy.
In my honest opinion.
Yeah.
My honest opinion, because I mean, just you know, okay. I'm gonna say this. This is my honest opinion. Again, living in LA, and I had the same mentality at one time. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, I'll be honest. All right. Black people in LA, all right, measure racial progress by getting non-black vagina for men and non-black penis for women, and I'll call it the Coachella syndrome, because they see their non-black friends, you know, reciting rap lyrics. They like Beyonce, their non-black friends. That's how they measure racial progress. I'm serious. That's why people like Ebro and all these entertainers are so big on this Black and Brown coalition, because it's based because non-black people love hip hop. That's what it is. It's all surface level. Okay. It has nothing to do with resources or economics outside of, again, chasing non-black vagina and non-black people liking hip hop. I'm telling you right now, that's what this is about. I promise you.
I'm a member of the Universal Zoo Nation. I was a member for 24 years, and I was a national spokesman for that organization. And the reality is, being that you brought up hip hop was always for everybody.
Bullshit. It was founded by black people. No, hip hop was started by black people.
It depends on what hip hop was founded by three main people, right? But Latinos always played a role in that.
They played a role in it, but not the founding of it. They played a role in it.
Yes, the founding fathers is DJ Kool Herc, DJ Africa Bambaataa, and DJ Grandmaster Flash.
Right. So it's founded by black people, and then Latinos, you know, they would come and break dance and maybe do graffiti. But hip hop was founded by black people. Shout out LAR movement. Go ahead, bro. LAR movement is on.
How y'all doing, first and foremost?
Bro, it sounds like you taking a dump in the bathroom. Like what?
Oh, hold on. Let me take the thing off. Is it better?
Yeah, it's better. Go ahead.
I was on my phone. Here's the thing. Though fam don't want to say this, the brown community don't want nothing to do with us. They don't. They're not gonna. There is no plan to actually reciprocate. There is no plan to actually help us with our agendas to move forward. And we don't have time to be waiting forever for people to quote unquote get it together. And we've been down this road with other groups already. This is not our first rodeo with this. You know, we got issues, and let's be a coalition, and we'll get it together. And then, you know, after we figure it all out, we're gonna help you out. It's about 2-3 other groups done that already with us. Like, it's not gonna happen. And you know, as far as Hispanics go, it's just like everybody else. There's love, but we see what it is. Like that's the issue. Like we see what it is. It's the black Hispanics and Latinos by the other Hispanics and Latinos. So don't act like if you come to America, all of a sudden we're gonna be cool. You can't even be cool with your own.
Facts.
So I mean, the reality of it is we're not gonna be suckers. And like I said in the chat room, we're not targeting brown people. We're not trying to backdoor and stab brown people in the back. That's not our history. That's not our way. That's not what we do. As a matter of fact, Gaspar Younger was black, right? The Black Guerrero was black, right? John Horse was black, right?
Vicente Guerrero, who they killed, the Mexican black Mexican president, who they killed because he was black.
See, we don't have the history of saying on one end white people did it all, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hate the black people and then side with the white people, but then have a coalition with the black people. We're not stupid. And that's the issue for us. You know, the black and brown unity thing is trying to play on our intelligence. You can't name anything that brown people as a collective would do, have done, or will do for black people. And to be perfectly honest, they'll do it for white people. So why can't we just be honest? Uh-oh. Hello?
Are you asking me or are you making a statement?
No, I'm asking you, why can't we be honest about that?
Well, you can't speak for all so-called Latinos. That's what I'm trying to say.
But we don't have to speak for all. So that's the hustle, though. Why do I need to figure out all so-called Latinos to figure out? That's y'all job, not our job. That's the brown job to figure it out. It's not the black job.
When did I say it was?
So why do we need to figure out? Why do we need to talk to every Latino?
Because of the statements that's being made as if there's been a census that's been taken.
The statements come with history, though.
It comes with the history, bro. It comes with the history. It comes with,
history?
I mean, yes.
Really?
I mean, because just like LAR movement said, black people are treated like crap in these Latino countries. So what makes you think they're to come to America and just, you know, ally with us? We don't even ally with the black people in their country.
You're speaking about white people. You're speaking about white people in these countries.
The mestizos, too, if that's what you want to call them.
Hold up. Aren't there a vast majority of quote unquote Latino or Hispanic people who aren't white who view themselves as white?
Isn't there a bunch of black people who think they white?
Okay, who
really?
What black people identify as white? Come on now.
Really?
What black people are marking? Like, what black people are marking white on the census?
Tom Cruise you got out here that think they white and act like you white. You don't gotta say that you white.
No. We're saying identify as white, not act. Identify. OJ, okay, might have tried to identify, well, play off and fit in with white people, but he always identified as black.
I think you need to take a visit to most of these churches out here and a lot of these masses out here between people thinking they white and thinking they Arab.
White and Arab.
I said go visit some churches and masjids, Muslims. You have black people that think they're Arabs, and you got black people thinking they white. They're ashamed that they African on both ends. This is an epidemic. It is a disease.
Oh, okay. So, okay, if using that analogy, do they turn around and start shooting Mexicans because of that?
First of all, I don't condone at all any of that. They're wrong for that.
Hold up. Here's the one issue with that statement, fam. If you don't condone it,
Mexicans killing.
No. The issue is, I understand you don't condone it, but that means you know it exists. And it also means you know that community ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Okay. So you're saying I'm not doing anything about it?
No, I'm saying the community as a whole is not gonna do anything about that.
Okay, and there's things as a whole that the black community does not do anything about. So it goes on both ends.
Oh, you're deflecting, brother, but we're not.
Okay, so what are we not doing as a whole that affects the brown population?
I'm not saying the brown population. I'm saying that there are things that go on in the so-called Latino community that so-called Latinos do not get off their asses and do anything about or speak out against.
What's that got to do with us?
And the same thing happens in the Black community.
So we do that when it comes to a Black and brown coalition?
No, what I'm saying is when it comes to the affairs of Black people, there are things that go on that Black people stay silent to. And there are things that so-called Latinos that so-called Latinos stay silent to. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so when it comes to a Black and brown coalition, what does that have to do with that part?
When it comes to a Black and brown coalition, again, I'll say this again, is for people that are like-minded, that work together. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're saying there's something wrong with that, then you need to look at the history of a lot of these organizations and movements that have come out through this country that were founded by Black people. So then you have to say that Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was wrong? Was Kwame Ture wrong? Was Ashada Shakur wrong? Was Mumia wrong? Was Fred Hampton wrong? Was Malcolm wrong? Was
Fred Hampton wrong in what? Wait. Fred Hampton wrong in what?
He dealt with so-called Latinos. You didn't know that? You never heard of the Young Lord Party? You know the Young Lords?
You might want to have this conversation with me.
Marcus Garvey didn't have an event at Madison Square Garden where there was so-called Latin countries that came there.
So this has been going on since Marcus Garvey, and the Latino community has been involved since Marcus Garvey. And from that point to now, what have they done for the Black community since Marcus Garvey? And when you brought up Fred Hampton, I'm gonna let you know this first and foremost. I'm from a few places. One of them is exactly where Fred Hampton's from. I grew up in that place.
Fred Hampton even worked with white people too.
And do you know how the city? Do you really want to have this conversation?
I mean, I'm mentioning it, so I guess I do.
Okay. Fred Hampton was set up, right?
Absolutely.
And it was Black people involved in the setup, right?
Absolutely. you okay? Keep talking. Just like
and
Marcus.
It was three factions in that neighborhood, right? It was the Black neighborhood, the Italian quote unquote white neighborhood, and the Hispanic neighborhood, right? Who were the two major drug pushers to make sure that everything went crazy in the neighborhood? Was it the Black ones or was it the Hispanic and the Italians?
Hispanic and Italian.
So even with being on Fred Hampton's side, they were still part of the setup, were they not?
The ones that were doing unrighteousness were not, but there were people that weren't into that. So again, that's why I asked if you know about the Young Lords, because the Young Lords was inspired by the Black Panther Party. And the
Young Lords turned into the Vice Lords, and the Vice Lords still have a connection with the Latin Kings, which is actually a plug for the drugs, right?
Oh, where do you get that from? The Young Lords didn't become the Vice Lords. The Young Lords don't even exist no more.
Did I say become? See, all of the things that happened in the Black Panther Party, especially in Chicago, just like in Oakland, all of those factions became gangs.
Okay.
So everything the BDs, the GDs, the Vice Lords, the Posse, all that stuff came from the Stones, the Rolling Stones, all that. And who was the plug this whole time? Italians and Hispanics.
All Hispanics?
Only the ones you want to say that was there.
So because there was Hispanics involved in that, now we can't fuck with Hispanics.
Brother, again, all we're saying is the shit has not been reciprocated, bro. And we have not, Black people have not benefited from this coalition. That's all we're saying, bro. But you keep defending it like we should continue to push forward. But we have lost more than we have gained, all right, when it comes to this relationship. And you have not proven to anybody in the chat room or me or LAR movement that we have benefited from this coalition besides having mixed kids, I guess.
Wow, mixed kids, huh?
I'm just saying, bro. You haven't pointed to anything. Like I said, when I was in LA, you know, we met black men, including myself, measured racial progress because our non-black friends listened to hip hop and because we got non-black pussy. That's how we measured racial progress.
What is that called? It's called a slave mentality.
Okay.
My exact point. My point. So outside of the slave mentality, okay, again, you know, no one can show or prove how black people have benefited from this black and brown coalition. And you continue to say, let's continue, let's push forward, this, that, and the other. We have lost more than we've gained. I mean, that's just what it is. We have lost more than we gain.
If that's how you see it, then that's just how you see it.
That's how it is, though.
If that's how you see it, then that's just how you see it.
Okay. And I'm going to be as respectful as possible. I get what you're saying right now. But you realize you can't even say what the brown has done for the black. And the things you try to point out in some ways are just deflections to get around the fact that there is nothing really being done. And I'm gonna preface this by saying this: when you bring up somebody like Castro, right?
Oh,
Castro had a history, right?
You sure about this now?
Because Batiste came before Castro, right?
Uh-huh.
And what was the issue with Batiste?
Okay. Batista wanted, first of all, Cuba was the Las Vegas before there was a Las Vegas.
Right.
So when alcohol was illegal here, the crackers would go to Cuba to drink. The Italian and Jewish mafia was in Cuba, all right? And they were exploiting the women. And they were just doing things illegally there, right? Now, Castro comes into power. So I'm going to ask you some things. Do you know how, to this day, since his death, and since he was alive, because I used to be very pro-Castro, and my views on Castro changed last summer, drastically. Do you know how much food somebody in Cuba gets?
No.
Could you and your wife, and let's just say your 5 kids and your mom and your dad and your uncles, could y'all live off of 3 eggs for the month?
No.
And a little bit of rice?
No.
Now, Castro has allies with countries that are powerful, that have money. And Castro had money. Have you ever seen how his children lived? And have you seen how the people lived? Do you know that
not well?
Not well at all. Do you know that if you and I right now in Cuba, and while he was alive, let's just say we wanted to make some money, nothing illegal, we wanted to sell some cantaloupe. Do you realize it's on the black market? If we get caught selling cantaloupe, do you realize we're facing some long prison time for that? For selling fucking cantaloupe?
Okay.
Do you realize the prostitution that still exists in Cuba and under Fidel, but yet there's eyes and ears everywhere? But who's going to prostitute these little girls? Canadians, Europeans, Americans, they're going over there. Have you seen the gloves, the rubber gloves that's used in hospitals in Cuba?
No.
Do you realize that when they use the gloves, they take the gloves off and they wash it with hot water until the glove rips, and then they throw it away?
Do you realize right now, I get everything you're saying, but the overall synopsis of what happened was Castro started treating the non-black people like they treated black people, and now people got pissed, even though that included black people, right?
You believe that's true? That's not true.
Really? How did Batista treat the darker people in Cuba? How did Castro come into power in the first place? Because the brother got killed after the election, did he not?
Who?
Okay, Batista went to New York, right? And when he went to New York, a black man was made the president. He came back to Cuba and he killed him, right? And then Castro came back and went to war and wound up coming into power. That's how it happened, right?
No, Batista didn't get killed by no black man.
It was a president. It was a dude that was elected president when Batista left and went to New York, and he was black. And he came back. He went right back to Cuba, got that guy killed, and became the president. And then Castro came back to Cuba, and that's part of the wars and him taking over.
Do you know any Cubans?
Okay, forget it. I don't know no Hispanics, no Hispanic history. I haven't talked to every Hispanic on the planet. Fuck it. I don't speak Spanish. I've never eaten anything Spanish.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you because I used to think what you thought or what you think. I used to think that way. I'm not.
That's documented history.
There's a thing called propaganda. Okay. Do you realize that in the 70s, Castro was showing American television from events from the 50s, and the people in Cuba thinking that that's going on right now in America, 90 miles away, when it wasn't? Do you know that under Castro, let's just say you go to a hotel, who's at the front desk? Not black people, not dark-skinned people. They always got the lesser of the job. They were content with breadcrumbs. My mother-in-law's mother was in Castro's military. And if you saw how she lived, you'd be shocked. And so for a black person in Cuba to praise Castro has one hell of a slave mentality that they're just happy that Massa gave them some breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs, that's what they get. So when you hear about, oh, he treated them so good. Oh, because Massa gave him some nice clothes. Yeah, sure.
Wait, what?
The people, it's propaganda. Castro was an opportunist, okay? The people did not live so great in Cuba.
Oh, wait. Let me bring this back to the topic for a second. That's part of the Black and Brown Coalition. Doesn't the brown community look like opportunists?
How so?
Because they want without any reciprocity. Because they want us to buy in and stand on the front line, and they don't want to shed any blood. Because they want us to do the heavy lifting, but they have no intentions of returning the favor.
For those that do, you are 1,000,000,000% correct.
But dude, that's the collective, brother. That's
really? So I'm like that? Really? Have you been to jail, my friend? Have you been to jail? Have you fought the police? Have you put your life on the line in your community and done things?
No,
I'm gonna wait for some black people to do it, some African Americans. I'm gonna wait for them. Have you? No.
Whoa. What did you actually fight the police for?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't fight the police.
I'll tell you what I fought the police for. I fought the police in 2002 for Mumia in Philadelphia. It marked the 20th anniversary of him on death row. And we went to where the pig was killed in Center City. And there was a whole bunch of people. Okay? And we're marching down there, and there's a flatbed truck with a television playing the A&E video of dealing with Mumia's court case. There was police on bicycles. There was city officials and everything. Out of nowhere comes all these fucking pigs in these grayish military clothes, standing in front of the stores that won't allow people out the stores and won't allow the people in the stores, and attacked us. I fought the police. That was my first time fighting the police at a young age. Okay.
So what is that? What did that to do with the Black and Brown Coalition?
No. Because he's saying that there's no Hispanic that would put themselves on the front line. That's not.
So you identify. So you identify as Hispanic.
So-called Hispanic. So-called.
Okay.
Hispanic.
So are you black? I mean, we had this conversation. You say you're black, indigenous, and Hispanic.
Are you?
You got to pick a side at some time, fam.
You got to pick a side, bro. You got to pick a side, man.
It's not picking a side, because I would fall under the category of a so-called Hispanic, okay? Though I'm not Hispanic, but I would fall in that category by society's terms, okay? What I'm saying is when you guys are talking about so-called Latinos and stuff like that, they need to be called out. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, you cannot say every single one is the same. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. How about this? You talked about 2002, right? Do you remember a certain kid getting shot in Florida by an Hispanic guy? How did the Hispanic community go about that? Didn't they say like he had a black grandmother and it's all good?
You are correct. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. They have to be held accountable. I fully 100% agree.
So can you have a coalition with people who always need to be held accountable for something?
You can have a coalition with people who are not like that.
Okay, what is that percentage of the people not like that?
I don't know. I didn't do a census.
Give me a guess.
Again, I didn't take a census. I'm not going to say a number and then I'd be wrong or off or over. I haven't taken a census. Let me say this much. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Okay. Because I was about to ask you flat out, like, since I'm black and you brown, if me and you came to a coalition right now, I can't trust you because you can never pick, you always on the fence.
Facts.
And that's a problem with the coalition. Like 1 minute it's a so-called, 1 minute it is, 1 minute it's not. But see, where I'm at, I know where I'm standing.
I never said I is. I'm saying so-called. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Well, so it should be a black and so-called brown coalition.
If that's what you want to call it.
I'm just saying, like, if the army, if we, I'm sorry.
That have Haitian's blood, okay, that may not have a lot of African blood in them, okay? Like you talk about Mexicans, right? A lot of Mexicans, in particular parts, they're more indigenous than anything. Then you have other places in Latin America where the people may have more indigenous than anything.
So everybody has like a separate agenda?
Bro, I know what the agenda is for the Brown coalition. It's brown power. It's brown supremacy. Like
because I know as a black person, we hit a La Raza thing a lot. So it's not like y'all don't have a collective.
Hold on, stop the show. Hey, LAR movement. You remember Philando Castile was also killed by a Latino.
You know. But that's the issue. Like we shouldn't have to bring all this stuff to the table. Like I mean, I understand where you're coming from, fam, but from our perspective, we shouldn't have to have all these questions if there's a coalition. And I'm sorry for interrupting you. I got a bad habit with that.
No, it's all good. Oh, yeah. All right.
Hello?
I'm here. I'm just listening. I didn't know if there's a question or.
No, okay. As a question, why do we have to address all of these questions with the brown part of the coalition?
Because of what has taken place, and you have every right to.
So why should we have a coalition and have all these questions? No, I'm making it reverse. How many questions does the brown community have towards the black community like this?
I have no idea.
But dude, you're half black, right?
I have no questions to ask anybody. My concern is the goddamn white man. That's my concern. It's not that's my concern.
But half of your team is like more on the side of the white man though. Because you can't deny they are Hispanic hate groups, like they involve themselves in that type of stuff. Okay. Like skinheads and Nazis and stuff like that, right?
And I find that to just be totally insane.
I get that. But, that's part of the issue with having a coalition with people who do have a faction of their group that can pretty much hang out with neo-Nazis.
So you mean to tell me if you meet somebody that's anti all of that, that's saying that so-called Latinos need to be held accountable. They're wrong for this. They're wrong for that. And they're saying that they want to work with black people, right? You still have an issue with them.
Yeah, because I mean to tell you, with all of that, that might not be your issue. That might not be your issue, but your cousin might be in that group, and your family.
Right.
Your brother might be in that group, and your family.
And right. And then the question becomes, are you willing to renounce your family in order for the move the objective forward, or in order to support the Black and Brown coalition? Are you willing to renounce your family?
Well, that's a question where my biological family is no longer alive. So
we're not talking about you personally,
but just saying in general.
Absolutely. I'm from the Bronx, and I've lived in Newark, and I've been around Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and this, that, and the third. And I currently live in Florida, where there's a lot of Cubans. And I renounced them. I renounced them by the things that they say and the things they do.
So are you an outlier in that community?
Damn, because someone's from an island I'm from, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
I get you. Are you an outlier? Like, are you like kind of like on, exiled in a sense, or you just don't have as many people out there like you?
For one, I've never had a lot of so-called Latino friends. And the ones that I do consider my friends think like me. So I don't have this problem. Now,
so are all of you like isolated in some sense?
Am I isolated?
No, like, is your group kind of like isolated? Are y'all all like black sheep type? You know what I'm saying? Like,
unfortunately, yeah.
So y'all could be the only group that we could work with.
That's what I'm saying, brother. That's what I'm saying. That there's those of us that I know and other people I know from different places, they think like that. And then you have the older generation of people in their 50s and 60s that think like that, because some of them were with the Panthers, some of them were in the Young Lords Party. They're there, they're present. They're very present. But my argument towards them is not towards y'all. My argument towards them is a lot of them are not doing anything. And it's for various reasons. But it's becoming to the point now that I'm becoming very impatient with the community on their behalf.
So you can understand our impatience?
Huh?
So you can understand our impatience.
Brother, absolutely, brother. That's what I'm saying. I'm not mad at none of y'all. I'm not mad. I'm nothing. It's just what it is that unfortunately, this is the world we live in. And it's, you know what I mean? And it's just that how I see things is these things are the way they are because of what we've been through as a people. And it's just like, when people are going to stop with the shit? Like, what more do we need to see that this is just wrong?
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
We as Black people, for the most part, truthfully, we're at a place of acceptance. So we're not going to bargain. We're not going to be angry. We don't want to talk. We don't want to wait on people. We're going to accept people for who they are as a collective, where they're at as a collective, and we're going to move on and do our thing.
And I don't blame you.
That's part of the coalition thing. We've, to be perfectly honest, as a people historically, we've done enough for everyone.
Absolutely. There you go.
I totally agree. I said that earlier. If it wasn't for the plight of what so-called African Americans went through this country, nobody would have the benefits that they have.
So all we're doing is we're moving. Like that coalition part, we don't, and that's the one thing about our people. I got friends of all races, As individuals, I understand we cool. But as groups, I understand our groups don't get along. And they understand that too. And I'm not trying to berate them and disrespect them because I get they got to be with their tribe. There's nothing wrong with it. But we don't have to wait on anybody's tribe anymore. Because at the end of the day, in its tribalism part of it, I'm saying, all these groups owe us. To be perfectly, everybody owes us. It ain't the other way around. And we're not with the martyr game no more.
Yeah, what we'll do, we'll have some closing statements from both of you guys, and we'll go ahead and close out. I got to get up early in the morning, so LR movement, go ahead and close out. Another brother, you go. Go ahead.
Okay, I appreciate y'all for having me. It's a cool discussion. Sorry I was long-winded.
Oh, it's all
I'm
good,
gonna go to bed just like y'all.
That's okay.
That's it.
All right, brother Malik, go ahead.
I actually watch your show a lot.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And I enjoy your show. I had got a notification. That's how I found out the show, the topic or whatever. You had a good show the other night. It was on Liberia. I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
I thank you for having me on. You didn't have to have me on. I look forward to building with you brothers. My Facebook is Cuban Crisis. If you ever want to chat, hit me up. You can inbox me. We can exchange numbers. I think this dialogue was healthy. You know, I think that it's a conversation that needs to take place. And I think that people need to say what they have to say. And I agree with y'all that the so-called Latino community, they're doing a lot of ass job, man. I totally agree with y'all. Totally agree with y'all.
And in the words of John Herrick Clark, Black people, we have no friends. So, you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure, brother Malik, what's your you have a page? Do you got your own YouTube page?
Not like yours. I don't have a computer. I'm working on a computer to actually start a channel. So mostly I do live videos on Facebook. I got to do interviews with different people, like from Amin Ra Squad to different activists and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, what's your Facebook page? I could, in fact, put your Facebook page in the chat, and everybody subscribe. Make sure you go to LAR Movements page and subscribe as well. But everybody, thank you for joining us. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com, go to africapersonified.africa. Also, go to dynasamir.com and amazon.com. Search your name, Dynasamir. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This was supposed to be a 30-minute situation. It turned into 2 hours, but it's all good. We got to have the dialogue. And again, in the words of the great elder master teacher, John Herrick Clark, Black people, we have no friends. Peace.
Peace.